The ARCA Menards Series on the dirt for the second time this year. It's the Southern Illinois 100 at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds in Illinois, round 9 of the Suchi Short Track Challenge. What a beautiful night we have in store for all of you watching on NAV TV. A great night, temperature in the low 80s, but let me tell you what, it is cooling off by the minute. Hello, everybody. I am Bob Dillner. Alongside of me, Jim Trado. As always, we're excited. We're on the dirt, but a little bit of a different change here. Under the lights for only the second time in the modern era of ARCA. How does that change things up?
A lot. I think it turns down to, pardon me, guys. It comes down to a lot of things going right. Guessing what this track conditions will do. We'll see moisture come back through the racetrack in nighttime. We've had a dry, slick racetrack for many, many times here, how to learn to put that rubber down, but I think that moisture will create 2 and 3 groove racing.
It's going to be exciting for sure here tonight, and there are so many storylines coming into this race here tonight. One of them, Michael Self. All to himself. You like what I did right there with that wording right there?
He was not supposed to win on the dirt, but he did. That's a huge blow to the rest of the field.
More than a 100-point advantage with just a few races to go. But listen, there are other people that are still going for this title, and it's go time for them. People like Christian Eckes, the teenager, or Brett Holmes out of Alabama, and also Travis Braden, the West Virginian, looking for the title, but they know they got to gain some points in a hurry with just a few races to go. Logan Seavey, the USAC star, so good on the dirt. He's the defending winner of this race and looked mighty fine at Springfield there just a couple of weeks ago. He's looking to challenge for another ARCA win here tonight. And then, of course, as we mentioned, nighttime conditions. Normally, it's under the sun here. The track is completely different, but now the lights are turned on and we're excited to have ARCA back on the dirt. Earlier today, qualifying was held for the ARCA Menards Series. The General Tire Pole Award went to Ken Schrader, now the oldest General Tire Pole Award winner in ARCA history.
I was on pit road watching his lap, and I also watched a lot of draws drop because no one expected Schrader, who was only 11th quick in practice, to do what he did here today.
The 64-year-old, definitely a contender here tonight. Dave Reith is with us. He spoke to him earlier today.
And, of course, DuQuoin, not only with a rich auto racing history, it's a horse racing track from back in the day, but how about this horse getting that job done? The oldest ARCA Menards Series pole sitter. You did it better than everybody else here, Kenny. What do you got to do to win 100 laps tonight?
Well, you got to do it better for 100 laps, or at least you just got to get there first. You don't have to be up front the whole time, but you got to get there first. And this ARCA field now, we're a little shorter on cars, but there's 15 guys. They got a shot at winning this thing, so it's hard to win them.
You look like you're still having fun. Yeah. Suffice it to say?
Yeah, I'm still having fun. Last time we ran an ARCA race, we run 11th. That wasn't much fun. This one's starting out a little more fun.
You know what? Up and down pit road, everybody's talking about the man to watch tonight, and it's that man, Kenny Schrader.
Ken Schrader, a 3-time winner here at DuQuoin. And this facility located in the southern tip of the state of Illinois. The first race held back in 1948, 1 mile in length, and it does have a little bit of banking at 11 degrees.
Yeah, more than Springfield, but it races a lot different than the 1 mile dirt track we just left 2 races ago. This Fairgrounds is more of a pointed corner, not as much of a round corner, if you will, and the drivers really have been adjusting their line. Today in the hot sunshine, it became a 1-group track, but I also see the moisture already, Bob, coming back to make this a really racy joint under the lights.
I love the dirt tracks because it means it's fair time here in ARCA. This is a bucket list for any short track fan in America. There's so much to eat. In fact, Jim Trado was at that stand. You got a corn dog just a little while ago.
I was scoping a lot of different corn dog stands, and I found the right one. It's delicious.
This fair opened back in 1923, and this is the final weekend here of this Southern Illinois State Fair. I don't know if I'd be able to handle that ride there, but we're going to handle some great racing here tonight. 100 laps will be the distance for the ARCA Menards Series, and honestly, if you take a look at qualifying, these guys, the stars, all jumbled up in that starting lineup. So let's get this one started here. Let's go down trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Here to give the command to fire engines, the Archer family.
On behalf of Federated Auto Parts, thanks for everybody coming out. Help me out with the countdown, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines.
Nicely done. Thanks for coming out. Have a great time.
There you see the star-studded lineup here at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds. Good shot there of the racing surface coming down the front stretch. That number 25 Sinclair machine, that is Michael Self, the point leader. Can he go 2 for 2 on the dirt this year? Nobody expected him to win at Springfield. We will have plenty of excitement and drama here tonight on the dirt here at DuQuoin. Do not go away. 100 laps for the ARCA Menards Series here in Illinois. Getting amped up for the Southern Illinois 100 at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds for the ARCA Menards Series. Dirt track racing is just something special, but certainly when you put it under the lights for only the second time here at DuQuoin in the modern era of ARCA. Ken Schrader, 64 years old, on the point for this one. Let's take a look at the General Tire starting grid. The teenager, Christian Eckes, alongside.
Surprising as well to see Carson Hocevar just the Eldora dirt race in the trucks and last race in Springfield under his dirt column of experience. Qualified fourth. Will Kimmel ran second here a year ago. He'll start in row 3. I think row 4 is going to be the drivers to watch. Riley Herbst back on the dirt from a year away. And Brett Holmes, he's going to have something to say tonight.
I say row number 5. That's where Ryan Unzicker, the dirt racing specialist, with his fellow dirt racing specialist Logan Seavey. Those guys are going to be very strong here tonight, and they'll be marching their way through the field. Travis Braden, Joe Graff Jr. right there in the thick of things as well. And remember, both of those drivers are top 5 in the point standings.
Yeah, it's coming down to the season, Bob, where we thought the dirt would change a lot of factors. With Michael Self winning, now it's go for broke on the dirt here at DuQuoin this evening.
Wayne Peterson, the ageless one, brings up the rear of the field here tonight for 100 laps.
81 years young out of Pulaski, Tennessee. He has a driver, Tim Richmond, who also had a really good run at Springfield in his other car, the 06 here.
Jim, we always love talking to you about your keys to the race. Bring me through the 3 top keys.
Corner entry, turn 1 got really narrow in practice and qualifying today. Get that right, or if you drift up, you're going to lose a ton of spaces. Also, the nose needs to stay clean. We saw some overheating issues at Springfield, and 1 year ago, championship contenders had overheating issues. Zane Smith was going for the championship, but he had an overheating issue for both dirt races. Got to keep that nose clean. Keep it out of the dirt collection on the nose of the car. Also, I say lap 85 or so is when you really need to be ready for the finish. We have 4 tires in the pits times 2 this time. 8 total tires. You can change 4 twice. If you have tires left in the pits after 70, you need to be in position on lap 85 because track position, I think, late will be key. You need to be in position with 15 to go.
In this week's Bounty Rookie Spotlight, we're going to take a look at the driver of the 06. That is Tim Richmond. And Tim is currently 8th in the point standings on an underfunded team. This is an independent team that has been so important to ARCA. But what Tim has done this year has brought this car to a whole new level.
Formula Fords and Spec Miatas last year to dirt racing in the ARCA Racing Series. Quite a difference in the ARCA Menards Series for this young driver. He actually got some laps in a hobby stock at Kankakee Speedway in Illinois by Alex Clubb. Alex is here helping him. We saw Alex on the dirt and pavement in limited runs this year, so he's doing everything he can to put together what should be the best season ever for a driver with Wayne Peterson Racing in the last couple of years.
Heading into turn number 3 here, there you see the Federated Auto Parts white machine, that number 52 for Ken Schrader. Is he a contender here for this race? That's what everybody wants to know, Dave Reef.
Everybody up and down pit road's been congratulating him and telling him that he's their hero, including Christian Eckes. And I want to go back to Jim Trado and what he was talking about, his first key. It is a gut check moment entering turn number 1, especially for drivers that are on the outside. Christian Eckes, Carson Hocevar, Will Kimmel, the first 3 rows. It was so tight and so narrow that if you got out of the groove, you slid all the way to the wall. But it is a great unknown now. As night has fallen, they will not know what that track will hold until they get there. It's going to come quick.
Time to get this ARCA party started here at DuQuoin. On the dirt, Ken Schrader will lead the field to the green flag. Schrader in the lead in the 52. We saw some wild racing, and look at Schrader slip way up the racetrack, opens up the door for Kelly Kovsky. Kovsky, the Illinois veteran, to the lead.
Kovsky had a good run at Springfield. His crew chief is Grant Enfinger. Grant told me today that if we are not top 5 in practice, we're throwing the kitchen sink of this car. They qualified top 5 by starting behind Schrader. He followed him, studied him for that lap. When Schrader moved up, Kovsky will pounce. It's his 14th race here at DuQuoin in an ARCA Menards Series car. So Kovsky has the experience as a dirt ringer, one of the few we have in the field that can qualify up front, and Kovsky's looking for his first win. It got taken away from him a few years ago from jumping a restart. He knows how much a win would mean to him and his Springfield, Illinois-based team.
If you watch the opening laps of this race, you can see everybody is searching for grip. Right here, Christian Eckes looking to the inside of Ken Schrader in a battle for second. Christian Eckes has been very good on the dirt. Had a second place run at Springfield. Won Springfield last year. Has been a big surprise for the driver out of Middletown, New York.
Yeah, last year's first trip here, he qualified third-ranked Ford. So, I mean, Christian Eckes not having any dirt background doesn't matter. He and Kevin Reed have something clicking here in this series. He had a different crew chief a year ago, but Eckes has responded on the dirt in that number 15, going for that second spot.
Riley Herbst in the monster number 18. That ride shared on Joe Gibbs Racing Stables by he and Ty Gibbs. Michael Self in that number 25, just in front of him in fourth, our point leader. But I think what Dave talked about just prior to the green flag is really coming to fruition right now. Everybody finding out how wide they can make that groove. We've seen Schrader try, Carson Hoselar tried on the initial lap, lost a bunch of spots. Everybody can see how narrow the groove here is in the corners.
At Springfield, again, 2 weekends ago, our most recent race was on a dirt mile in Springfield, the capital city of Illinois. That got to be very narrow, and you had to hug the rail in the corners. Your left front headlight really had to be almost on the guardrail throughout the entire corner. Here you see a wider entry initially, then tuck it in, then widen out. It was diamonding in the corner. You don't see dirt on the bottom of turns 1 and 2 used up like we saw at Springfield. So that groove was widening even in corner middle to exit now. I like to see the fact that we got 2 grooves of racing here. I don't see a whole lot of cushion. I don't see a whole lot of dark in one lane only. We're getting this thing widened out pretty quick here.
There is Ryan Unzicker still trying to win here in the ARCA Menards series. He's been good on the dirt. A pass right there. Will Kimmel goes by him for 8th. So Unzicker falls back a spot. He too got up and out of the groove and went slip sliding away.
Not a surprise by Will Kimmel in his charge. The 3rd generation racer in that red number 69 Kimmel Racing Ford. I believe he feels he has a good shot to win here. He had a right front tire pressure issue on his last change at Springfield. Just finished outside the top 5. Here, Kimmel has a serious shot of one of the few chances he gets to race a full race here in the ARCA Menards series.
Brett Holmes in that orange number 23. 3rd in the series point standings, looking for that elusive victory here in ARCA. But he is a former dirt racer from the Deep South.
Track champ at Talladega, short track champ and track record holder, as well as his dad, Stacy. 10 years apart, they both own the track record there at the track right across from the big Talladega Superspeedway. He actually got his dirt late model before Springfield for an hour or so in practice just to get the dirt back in the system.
Riley Herbst, very aggressive early on here. Herbst in that 18 running in 5th, looking outside and in on Michael Self. I saw Riley here today, and I thought it was a little bit of a surprise when we saw his name on the entry list, because he told me last year, Bob, I really don't like the dirt. So I said, what are you doing here? I thought you don't like the dirt. He goes, I'm still not used to it. I'm getting to like it a little bit more, but right now he's having a pretty good run.
And what a diverse schedule he's had this year, against spending time with Ty Gibbs in this car, in the ARCA Menards series, also racing cars, late models, also racing the truck series and the Xfinity series for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's got a lot going on, but nothing full-time when it comes to point chasing.
Battle for the lead brewing right here. Christian Eckes in the 15 looks to have a very good race car. Look to the inside of Kelly Kovsky. Kovsky continues to lead this race in the early going. Just about 10 laps complete next time by here of 100. And Kovsky, we're used to him being near the front in an ARCA dirt race. He's had some very good finishes. But Christian Eckes, I think the funny thing about him is he grew up just miles from Orange County Fair Speedway in Middletown, New York. I said, man, did you ever go there as a kid? He goes, nope, never raced there, never saw the racetrack, but he's good on the dirt. Almost contact down there between Kovsky's 16 and the 15 of Eckes.
Eckes has worked on that bottom groove off of turn number 2. He's lower than anybody else through turns 1 and 2, and I believe Kovsky's saying to himself, Don't run down there. There's nothing there. There's nothing to grip on. But look at this move again to the bottom of Kofsky. Kofsky's right side's in the black. They make contact there.
Contact between the 15 and the 16. That opens up the door for Christian Eckes to the front of the field. We have a new leader in Venturini Motorsports, driver of the 15, Christian Eckes. Well, he won at Springfield last year. Had a great top 5 run here this past year at DuQuoin. Can he go back to victory lane? There's the Nugenics top 5 going to break. So even though we see a little bit cooler temperatures here under the lights at nighttime at this racetrack, unlike what we saw at Springfield, that is still something that all the teams are paying attention to with how that dirt can collect on that front screen.
Carson started 4th. He dropped 2 spots back before that pit stop and getting that grill filled. They talked about getting that nose clean. He was probably running behind a car that tried to find traction, which meant a lot of dirt coming back to the nose of that Chevrolet.
And ARCA allows these teams to come up with a screen configuration that they believe works best. And we see all sorts of innovations in the pit area. This Venturini Motorsports number 15 for Christian Eckes, he's out front, so he doesn't have to worry about it as much. But certainly that screen needs to have the air pass through it in order to cool down the engine.
The majority of the air on the dirt races will come in through what we call the grill. It won't come below the headlight at level. But we see, just like the number 25 machine, look how packed that nose is. That upper grill area is still clear, but the 18 of Riley Herbst, he was the driver, I think, searching for lines behind Carson Hocevar, or ahead of Coaster Hocevar, as he's looking to get around the 25. He's may have an issue here. Look how packed his nose is on his Camry here coming down the front stretch.
You're seeing 4th and 5th on the racetrack here at DuQuoin. Riley Herbst, he's been running, as you said, some Xfinity Series races in NASCAR, as well as the Truck Series in NASCAR, has 3 more races on his schedule for 2019.
And he has a little to live up to. Ty Gibbs, in his first ever dirt race at Springfield, that kid led laps in his dirt debut. And this team with Mark McFarland has it going on with this number 18 team. Let's see how they can keep it together here. Improve on their position of finish.
Trouble for Will Kimmel. And there you see that team picks up the hood. And I believe this, too, will be an overheating issue for another one of the teams in this race. Will Kimmel, a couple of years ago here, won the General Tire Pole Award, and last year had a great run here on the mile.
Yeah, he finished 2nd, which is an awesome run for him. What I think, Bob, a couple of factors. We talked about at the top of the broadcast about how this track can become moist again. It won't be dry slick. DuQuoin's been a dry slick track for years. The last time we ran under the lights was 2016. Not that long ago, but when you think of DuQuoin, you think of dry racetrack. You can maybe tape off that nose. I see a very thin sieve on the screen on Will Kimmel's car. He's got a little snaps that go on there. I just wonder if he got bit by too much moisture coming back to the grill, that number 69 Ford.
Christian Eckes has a 2.5 lead over Kelly Kofsky right now. The Nugenics top 5 shows you Ken Schrader is still right there in 3rd. Welcome back to DuQuoin for the ARCA Menards series. Ken Schrader trying to hold off Michael Self, the point leader here in the ARCA Menards series. Riley Herbst in that 18 right there as well. Let's take a look at how the standings shake out heading into this event here at DuQuoin in Southern Illinois, because Michael Self has been so good so far this year. Those 5 wins that he has propelled him to a huge lead over Christian Eckes.
Gained 35 points at a dirt track. You thought there'd be a great opportunity to make a ton of points up. Not so. Eckes finished 2nd in the race. Brett Holmes finished 3rd in the race and lost points to our leader, Michael Self. So as the season clicks away, these laps and opportunities click away. Travis Brayton thinks this is one of his best chances to race for a victory. He sits 4th in points, 85 behind Brett Holmes right now.
Brett Holmes still void of a win. Eckes has 2. Michael Self has 4 victories, looking for his 5th here today at DuQuoin. And right now, he sits in that 4th spot.
And Self is doing what he needs to do. He needs to run top 5 here. He needs to keep that nose a little bit cleaner. I see a lot of buildup on the front of that Sinclair's Lubricants Toyota. Running now behind Ken Schrader. Schrader, the pole winner, has drifted back into that 3rd position, kind of in the clutches of what Self's pace is. Self honestly said, I didn't really know exactly what I had at Springfield. I know this track's a lot different, though. His first comment in practice to his pet practice spotter, Frank Kimmel, this track's a whole lot different than Springfield. I got my work cut out for me here this afternoon.
This is early in the race, and this is similar to what Michael Self did at Springfield, where he just hung in there until he made a charge later in that race. It paid off for him. His first race on the dirt, his first victory on the dirt.
He led the last 47 laps, believe it or not. And I'm thinking he's going to lose it at some point. He's going to drift high. He's going to not know what to do on restarts. Michael Self proved that he can adapt very quickly to this racing surface. He said, I had a little dirt experience, a little bit in Donnie Moran's backyard with a hobby stock. His dirt experience went back to 2012. He bought actually a micro sprint, and he went and hung out in a friend's field in Tulare, California with a micro sprint like 3 or 4 times. Just went out and did laps. That's the only dirt experience he has. And look at that, he won last race convincingly.
Ken Schrader, he has all sorts of dirt experience all over the country in several different forms of motorsports, but 6 wins for him on the dirt in ARCA competition throughout his years.
His most recent win in the modified came here about 2 hours ago. They ran a couple of modified heat races. They're running the big feature tomorrow night here at the Fairgrounds, and Schrader convincingly won his heat in a dirt modified, which he races 80, 90, 100 times a year.
He's all over the country, and his wife always has to chase him down. Where you at, Kenny? She flies in and watches her husband race. Oh, Michael Self with a little wiggle right there when he was trying to go around Tommy Vi in the Extreme Cleaner number 10. So Michael Self felt how it is to get out of the groove.
Tommy Vi kept it clean, kept it on the bottom, but now we see that groove widening. It's one groove off the rail in the corner. However, there's still that fine dance now as you see the track blackening. The track is now starting to take a bit of rubber. And Self said at Springfield, man, I didn't like sliding. I have to slide a lot here at DuQuoin. I talked to him after practice, and he was saying, I don't like the feel of not having complete control and keeping the car straight as he did at Springfield. He thought that was more like a paved track. He said this one, the slipperiness of it and getting a little bit out of groove has me concerned. We'll see how Self can roll on here. I think they're all looking for a caution, Bob. They all have a lot of mud on the front end. No doubt the temperatures are going up, and he's running top 5. And Self knows enough now, the confidence he has in that victory, he can pit and still be a contender in this race if he comes in early.
Let's go to Dave.
Well, for Will Kimmel, it wasn't an issue of heat despite mud being caked on the front of your car. What happened?
It got to about 235, 240, which for an Elmore is hotter, and unfortunately, I didn't want to take a chance, and the motor started laying down a little bit. We didn't lose oil pressure completely, but for us, running 2 races, it wasn't smart for me to burn it down.
Tough to be out this early, guys. Humidity very, very high as well. So that fine dust that they're used to seeing on this racetrack when they race in the day just makes it that much easier to clump together. Humidity running in the high 80th percentile range.
Indeed, Dave, and we are under caution here at DuQuoin. Debris on the backstretch.
With that extra set of tires, Bob, this makes it perfect. We're 1/3 into this 100-miler. This is going to be a critical pass opportunity. Not in the pits. It's a modified pit stop situation, but on the restart, getting as many spots as you can is going to be critical. I expect all the leaders, Bob, to come in for 4 General Tire grabbers on this pit stop.
I think you're right, honestly. 34 laps into this one. Let's take a look at the Geico 411. We know that this race is 100 laps, but I think the key thing here is that pit window. Anywhere from 20 to 40 laps. We're in that realm right now. So, like you said, we expect everybody to come down pit road, especially after what we saw at Springfield, where Billy Venturini and Logan Seavey played with pit strategy.
Yeah, the number 20 team actually came in for fuel only early on and never came back to pit road for tires. Logan said his tires actually, the stagger went away. It wasn't the grip factor, it was the stagger went away with all the heat build up in the car without changing tires over 100 miles at the Springfield mile last race. So I think they're going to be ones to change. I really believe Riley Herbst needed this caution with as packed that front grille was. So the car running in the 5th position now, Riley Herbst has a new chance on life as well.
Yeah, they'll be getting some gloves dirty down there,
oh, yeah,
wiping that screen, or maybe they have a wire brush or something like that to try to get that dirt from that screen.
But we need to tell the viewers, watch for these pit stops. Again, modified pit stops at the dirt tracks in Toledo this year are for safety. When they come to pit road, whoever likes to come to pit road, they have an entire lap to get their pit stop done and not lose position. So if you come to pit road, you'll be able to leave and realign in the order you came to pit road without that rush and the feel of the pit stop changing the complexion of this race because it's so tight here at DuQuoin.
I was going to say it's part of the safety initiative with the ARCA Menards series because of the tight pit road that we see at Springfield, and that has a different shape as well, and then a very tight pit road here at DuQuoin as well. Great job by ARCA, basically coming up with this scheme here. You'll see everybody come down pit road right now, led by leader Christian Eckes in the 15.
Kelly Kofsky is one of the first pit stalls to come to pit road, and the 20 machine and the 15 are one of the last. They're pit stalls 1 and 2, so we'll see what the Venturini teammates who have won here on the dirt most recently, along with Michael Self, will do on this pit stop.
And with nighttime racing, this track, the way it's going to play out, everybody expected the track to be a little bit more abrasive on these General Tire grabber tires, and there is Logan Seavey, the number 20 on pit road as well. Everybody honestly expecting a 4-tire stop, but you never know. One crew chief might try to do something just a little bit different than the rest.
And Seavey's back in 6th. He hasn't really made a charge. I mean, he has not been the guy we'd expect to see making up time on the inside, making those daring moves. I think he's waiting for this caution to get those adjustments on the number 20, because it's so different than our midday, hot under the sun practice session.
So Christian Eckes heads off of pit road. Plenty of activity there as well. Joe Graff Jr., you saw his bright yellow machine running just outside the top 10. There is Riley Herbst in the Monster Energy number 18.
And as they race off pit road, they're trying to build heat in these tires already, trying to get their tires ready. They will be repositioned as they came to pit road before the restart.
So one pit stop down, possibly one more to go here in the Southern Illinois 100 for the ARCA Menards Series at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds, round 9 of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. The ARCA Menards Series Southern Illinois 100 at DuQuoin, under the lights, on the dirt. Doesn't get much better than that. But this is part of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge, round number 9 overall of an 11-race series. And by the way, Venturini Motorsports has won all of those races so far this year with 3 different drivers.
You just jinxed him, did you? Because, I mean, Chandler Smith is trying to get back in this points chase. He's not here tonight, but he's certainly a factor still in the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. Is the best 10 of 11 count. We're already at round 9. We have 2 more to go. Lucas Oil Raceway and Salem Speedway. This is a wonderful series with all these different racetracks we have to go on, including the mile dirt tracks. It really is a cool championship to win in a given season.
Christian Eckes very strong so far in that 15, Dave Reef.
In fact, Kevin Reed is very, very happy with his race car. Just went over all of the numbers that the team gathers when they came in for that pit stop. Is there anything going wrong in your program so far today?
Everything's been really well today. We unloaded really good. From the times we were running in practice, we wasn't the fastest car, but overall we were the fastest car throughout the day for averages and times, so felt really good about that. Was a little bit disappointed by not getting a pole. We missed it by a little bit, but Schrader's pretty good here too. So, but fired off here in the race really well.
How about Christian behind the wheel? Calm, cool, collected?
Absolutely. He's on his game tonight. He's doing everything he needs to do, and when he's got his head down digging, he's as good as anybody.
Speaking of being cool, everybody else is suffering from problems overheating. This car cruising along at 180 degrees, just the way that this man wants it.
And Dave, there is the 52 of Ken Schrader. He has been penalized by ARCA for an uncontrolled tire on his pit stop. He will have to start at the end of the lead lap cars.
He was running 4th before the pit stop, so he got great positioning because everybody on lead lap did come to pit road. That's a huge blow for Schrader. Now he's going to have to make some daring moves, take some chances, maybe fill that front radiator with a little more dirt than he'd care to, try to get position on teams. Again, he's drifting back from 3rd to 4th before that restart, so we'll see how he can rebound here for the 7-time pole winner on the dirt, 6-time race winner.
Green flag back out. Turns 1 and 2 are going to be awfully interesting.
Great jump by Eckes to get clean, honestly. Look at this restart. There's going to be a lot more.
Kofsky, Riley Herbst, the 20 of Logan Seavey, all making contact in turns 1 and 2. Unzicker, Seavey, 3 wide off of 2.
Unzicker's been using this line, but he's not been able to gain position. That was ideal for him to get to the outside of that 2-car tangle in that last corner.
Look out for Corey Heim in that 22 for Chad Bryant Racing, the Carbon Racing Solutions race car. He was so good at Springfield on a restart late in the race. He had a shot and had a slip up, and that cost him dearly.
His first dirt race was Springfield, running 2nd with Michael Self on the final restart. Got shoved up in the loose stuff and only gathered it back to 7th. So he learned from that. He told me a lot about how he's going to keep that nose clean and try to make sure he won't be in that position again to be left out late in the going.
Unzicker and Corey Heim made some contact there, that blue 24 and the black 22. There's the 27 of Travis Braden. He says he loves the dirt tracks. Definitely had a tough run here last year, smashing into the turn 1s and 2 wall.
You know, that was he led 17 laps in that race, and that white number 27 Ford, he looked like he was getting back in position. He literally got pounded from the rear and spun and rear clipped the car. late in the going as he was racing for a top 3 position. So he thinks of redemption on the brain for Travis Braden here at just his 4th dirt track start.
Komsky in that white 16 didn't have a good restart, but right now he's riding in that 3rd spot. Riley Hurts behind him, but here's what we expected. That 20 of Logan Seavey, the dirt track specialist, the winner here last year, starting to make his charge.
Yeah, I can see him getting a little bit wide with that rear tail coming off at turn number 4. A lot of cars in qualifying, as we talked about how narrow the lane was, off at turn 4, they got tail happy. They were trying to get everything they could out of it. And Seavey kept his car true. But his experience, Bob, he just spent 4 nights last weekend at Kokomo, Indiana in a non-wing sprint car, won on Friday night, and actually finished 5th on Saturday. That, I think, along with the much dirt experience he gets with Keith Coons, racing a midget on the Power Eye and the USAC national schedules, that's got him right in the wheelhouse here. He said, this is my kind of track. I can drive this like a dirt track. I don't have to keep it straight and narrow like Springfield allows.
CV now up to 4th here as we near the halfway mark here in the Southern Illinois 100. But it's been all Christian Eckes looking for another victory on the season. He's been a winner prior here in the ARCA Menards Series on the dirt. Under caution for the 2nd time, just shy of the halfway point in the Southern Illinois 100 for the ARCA Menards Series here at DuQuoin. Ryan Unzicker had been in the top 10, closing in on the top 5 at one point, but he came down pit road and they really worked on that front grille screen.
Yeah, I had a chance to drop in on the radio thanks to Racing Electronics, and he just said flat out, I can't turn under these guys. I need more grip. I can't win with the car the way it is. So they brought that car from 6th to pit road for Unzicker.
So Michael Self in a good spot right now, finds himself in that runner-up spot. What's going on with the 25, Dave?
Well, right now everything is going according to plan for Shannon Rush, the crew chief, Michael Self, and the entire Sinclair team. You know, Jim, you and I had a chance to talk to his father, the doctor, earlier today, and we asked him about Michael's progression this year. And he said he's really started to slow things down a little bit, process things, and he's certainly grown up in a big, big way. He knows that this championship is certainly in his grasp. And Jim, you even said it back at that Springfield race. That could be the defining championship moment. But right now, very little talk on the radio, very happy with the lap times. The only thing that this Sinclair team worries about right at this moment is the upcoming restart. Because you know Christian Eckes is going to take the inside. So can Michael Self hold his own, keep his position on the outside? That's what we're about to find out.
And there's no rule that says the inside driver has to be at the railing coming to the restart on the front stretch. He doesn't have to hide it low. He just needs to leave some racing room up top. And we saw that at Springfield. The leader at the race, in Michael Self's case, didn't really hug the inside rail coming on the front stretch. He used what he could on the inside line, a lane and a half. So that could be to Eckes' benefit here if he gets the restart he wants on the inside. And Eckes had been really good on restarts on dirt track racing. He didn't lead a lap last race, but coming to 2nd, Eckes, I think, had a really smart race. So this might be his chance to, again, gain some points. He wants to gap his teammate, Michael Self. They finished 2-1 last race at Springfield. Eckes 2nd, Self the winner.
Going back to green next time by. And remember, we've seen Michael Self, especially at Springfield, rub fenders, use the bumper. You know, he used that bumper to work his way by the 22 to get to that top spot. He went on to win. So Michael Self is a very aggressive race car driver, very smart driver, and that's why he is the series points leader by 100 markers over the guy that starts to his inside, Christian Eckes, teammates at Venturini Motorsports.
And their teammate Logan Seavey sits in the 2nd row in that black number 20 on this restart. So we'll see how this plays out for the team. There are no real team orders, but they have really strong cars, especially here at Springfield. They won the last 3 races. Those 3 cars won the last 3 races on the dirt.
What you thinking, Dave?
Well, I'm thinking about Christian Eckes and Michael Self. If Eckes is going to get himself back into this, remember the history that these two have. They say it's been painted over. It's in the past. It's done. But you can talk to some other people who will remain nameless at this point and say, no, that's still just a little bit of a sticking spot. So Eckes is going to get himself back into this championship right here. This would be a good spot to do, as you said, Jim. Use up a lot of that racetrack. Make it difficult for Michael.
And coming to green here, what Dave Reef was talking about is Michael Self actually hit Christian Eckes, his teammate, late in the going at Elko Speedway. Christian was not happy, did not speak to Michael until they got to the shop that week. They say it's history.
See how much room Self might give his teammate here as part of the retribution payback. Self felt horrible after that incident. Even went on Twitter and social media saying, I really screwed up. I feel horrible. He's one of my best friends. So we'll see how this plays out. Self, very smartly here, automatically tucked to the bottom and inside, got that spot.
Seavey gave it a valiant effort trying to go around Michael Self, but now he's opened up the door for the 22, Corey Heim, the kid out of Georgia, looking very strong once again on the dirt.
Races late models, races super late models, had never seen a dirt track before Springfield, and here he is up towards the front. He led laps last race and was second on the final restart. I can't tell you how impressed I am with Corey Heim in this Atlanta Speedway Children's Charities Ford number 22 with Paul Andrews, the crew chief, making the calls. The red wheels on that number 22 here today, trying to hold position. And oh, look at Seavey. Seavey, so smart, crossed under that kid, and now is making him pay to stick him on the outside line.
That just shows you the experience for Logan Seavey. Knows exactly what to do and where to put his race car to get that spot back.
Getting word that Joe Graff is going to be penalized for a restart violation. Changing lanes before they came to the start-finish line. That's where you can start making your moves to inside or outside. Must stay in your lane. So Graff, who came into this race 5th in points, looking for his first top 5 on the dirt, will have to do it from the back, as he'll have to do a drive-through penalty through this narrow, small pit road to get back on track. And hopefully he can do it under caution, but they aren't going to wait too long for him to service that penalty.
Riley Herbst at 18. He's back a few spots from where he was prior to the caution, running in 6th. Trying to hold off that Matrix Care number 27 of Travis Braden.
Braden made an adjustment. He came in the most recent, the first caution he came down pit road. Braden had a different strategy last race at DuQuoin as well. Got himself in position, got to the point where he was really, really good late in the race, and unfortunately had an accident late in the going while running in the top 3 for position. So Braden had one of his better runs. He honestly feels comfortable here and confident with the team. AJ Flack raced to victory in the Dirt Series. Don Flack, the team owner, long history, championship runs in USAC and midgets and Silver Crown cars for several years. So this is somewhat of a home race for that team based out of Illinois, Galesburg, Illinois, where RFMS Racing is based, now in Indianapolis.
We are just past the halfway point here in the Southern Illinois 100. The Nugenics top 5 going to break. Look at Venturini Motorsports. They're looking awfully sporty here on the dirt once again, this time at DuQuoin. Let's take a look at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. So many strong cars here. Ken Schrader, the General Tire Pole Award winner, and look at that crazy first lap. Cars all over this racetrack.
Unknown because we qualified the afternoon. The sun set. The track changed completely for these teams.
Right there, contact between Christian Eckes and Kelly Kovsky. Kovsky was the leader, Christian Eckes to the front of the field, and since then, he has dominated.
Yeah, 3 lead changes in the first 11 laps, and now we see that has been a factor. Overheating for Will Kimmel and several other drivers they thought would contend for the win here tonight.
That's a big thing that we've been seeing. Cleaning the grill whenever anybody makes a pit stop. That is the pit stop for Christian Eckes. On the restart, he was still in command of this one, but then Venturini Motorsports started to look even stronger than they were prior to that, with Michael Self climbing through the field as well as Logan Seavey.
Great run by the Venturini Motorsports team to get those cars. I talked to Kevin Reed, who helps in the shop set up all 3 cars. He said between Springfield and here, they went through a lot of things on the cars to get them to have more drive off the corner. We hear drivers chirping about not having enough drive off. Not the case for those 3 teammates now racing for the lead here.
The Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. 11 cars still on the lead. Lap 62 circuits into 100 here at DuQuoin.
Almost 3 wide coming down the front stretch there, Bob, on the last lap. Coming down into turn number 3 here, we see we've got a lead with Christian Eckes, but Logan Seavey's getting a little impatient, and he's really challenging the point leader, Michael Self, in that green and white 25.
Remember, we have that round of pit stops still to come, so Logan Seavey can be aggressive. He doesn't have to really worry about the tire wear because we expect to have another caution in the last 37 laps of this race or so, and then they'll come down, get 4 more General Tires on these machines, and then be good to go. What Logan Seavey honestly is doing right now is trying to be as aggressive as he can to get as many spots as he can and then have track position at the end of the race.
really a benefit to ARCA Menards Series officials for saying, you know, we're giving you guys 8 tires at the dirt tracks. For years it's been 6 tires, so the balance of how long can the left side tires hold and how many air ducts go back to the left rear to save those left side tires because they had to stay on for literally 2/3 of the race. Now we've got 4 general tires waiting for these teams again in the pits, so they have 8 to start the race on, plus the 4 they qualify to start the race on. So they're actually running a 12-tire race. I love the idea they can put 4 on. So there's not a lot of blower hoses to the left sides to maintain efforts. They're actually focused on the right side rear tire. There's events going back to the tread and to the bead on the right rear tire of all the contending cars I saw in the pits earlier today.
Right behind the top 3, which were the Venturini Motorsports cars, sits the 17-year-old Corey Heim. Right in the thick of things, as we have documented at Springfield a few weeks ago. That 22 is starting to show his strength once again for Chad Bryant Racing.
Yeah, I tuned in his radio channel during our most recent commercial break, Bob, and his crew chief, Paul Andrews, just reading off lap times. No other conversation, no other ways to go about it. Corey said at Springfield he learned a lot. He learned about how to be straight, but he wants that feel. He loves the feel of getting a little bit loose. His only other experience in dirt racing was on iRacing in a late model. So putting that to 4, it comes natural to this young 17-year-old. All that short track late model experience and super late experience coming here for his 10th start this year. I'm really impressed with how he's been able to maintain position, much less race for victories here already this season.
When the ARCA Menards Series comes to the dirt tracks, a lot of times you see these cars stay straight and narrow. Not so for the 20 of Logan Seavey. He's getting it done, and he's in our Nugenics top 5. Christian Eckes still leads here at DuQuoin.
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Men everywhere trust the man-boosting power of Nugenics Total T. Hers, forever good. And by Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products.
Christian Eckes in that 15, trying to become the 37th different winner in stock car racing here at the DuQuoin Fairgrounds. But right on his tail right now is the 25, his teammate in that Sinclair machine, the point leader Michael Self. Logan Seavey, another Venturini Motorsports teammate, riding in 3rd.
Eckes making a veteran move here. He was right underneath the rear tail bumper, a cover of the number 77 of Joe Graff. Graff's running 11th, trying to stay on the lead lap. When Eckes got close to him, he was there for a couple of laps, and then he backed off that charge. Now he's on the charge again. You can't stay behind a car real long. You'll lose the nose. That means the air goes away. You're going to lose a lot of the option for the downforce on the nose, and look at Eckes here. Making me a liar again. Textbook pass on the inside of the 77 of Graff, now 1 lap down.
Yeah, Graff running just outside the top 10. He had a top 10 run a couple of weeks ago at Springfield, but that Eat Sleep race machine not exactly to his liking here. Here comes Logan Seavey. Michael Self very smartly says, "Go on by, my teammate." Logan Seavey up to 2nd.
Great move by Seavey. Great drive off the corner. That's one thing we talked about, having grip throughout the race. And as this track is really slicked off, I don't see a lot of buildup. I don't see a cushion of any sort. I see this race surface widening out. It's a matter of finding that grip and getting that bite off the corner. And Seavey now down in the light gray, or excuse me, the light brown there on the inside of what could be some moisture and some grip on the bottom of that corner.
So here's what's interesting. We know most of these teams, and there is a good battle right there. A little contact between the 22 of Corey Heim and the point leader, Michael Self. Corey Heim moves into 3rd, so those two went at it at Springfield a couple of weeks ago.
He was on a late race restart. Self actually went to the inside on the last restart. He got a little bit into the 22 of Corey Heim. Perhaps that's his way of saying, hey, if you want the spot now, you can have it. We're not over. This race is not over. I've got a championship to win here, young man. Heim's 11th start this season. He's looking forward to the next 2, but he's really hoping he can do more races in 2020 in the ARCA Menards Series. Great run by that kid.
So what I was starting to say before they started to heat up here in the top 5 is that I wonder what's going to go on with pit strategy here, because we know by virtue of when they pitted, they can go the rest of the way on fuel. No problem whatsoever. We know they have 4 more general tires in the pit area. They don't have to pit. If we have a late race caution, they certainly could, but definitely pit strategy could come into play with 25 laps to go.
They're all sitting on 4 tires in the pits, Bob. They have 4 fresh general tires. The majority of these lead lap cars. Will they come to pit road, or will there be a track position debate between crew chief and driver if they do get a chance to come to pit road? They don't need to come back anymore. They got plenty of fuel to go their way.
We'll be right back here to DuQuoin. The Nugenics top 5 going to break. Whenever the ARCA Menards series comes to the dirt, we always expect those dirt racing specialists to be very good. The driver of the blue, number 24, Ryan Unzicker, currently running in ninth. He's been up and down in the top 10. He came to pit road just a short time ago, but has not charged back like we thought he would. What's going on with that 24, Dave Reed?
Well, right now, Bill Hendren, the team owner and crew chief, is trying to figure out just exactly where things are going to ultimately fall out. They are in a position to be able to go the distance and could get some track position if the yellow flag comes out. However, they're not 100% happy with that race car. But as you all well know, crazy things can and do happen here. Ryan Unzicker, already a late model Fairbury American Legion Speedway champion this year, missing a couple of late model races here to expand his resume. But if you're looking for a potential deep dark horse, should a yellow fall, the question is, will they come or will they stay out for that track position?
So that might explain why we're not seeing him charge hard right now. He's saving his stuff. He pitted twice already for tires, so he knows he's actually better than anybody else on the racetrack right now in terms of those general tires. But at the same time, he'll play the track position game if we get a late caution and a lot of people come to pit road.
Brett Holmes wants to get the position here because he's in the same boat, same strategy as the number 24, the 23 driver I'm speaking of, who finished third at Springfield. Brett Holmes has also made his 2 stops for tires, so he is in that same strategy boat as the number 25 Unzicker. They have more dirt laps than a lot of these competitors. So this strategy, they need that caution to let it play out because they are pretty far behind the leader now, some 10 seconds back.
And Brett Holmes really struggling here tonight. Not only because he's running 10th right now, but he was struggling because he goes to Auburn University, and Auburn is playing Oregon here tonight while he's in a race. He wouldn't trade this for the world, but at the same time, he's saying War Eagle here tonight.
And he also told me very confidently he's only going to miss 1 home game this year for his Auburn Tigers in football, based upon his schedule, which he's worked around the football and racing.
He indeed has. Brett Holmes, third in the series standings, coming into DuQuoin. Is this the calm before the storm in the Southern Illinois 100 for the ARCA Menards series at the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds? Round number 9 of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. And the driver of that machine, Christian Eckes out of New York, continues to dominate this race over a pair of Venturini Motorsports teammates, Logan Seavey and Michael Self. Corey Heim there running in the 3rd spot with Self in 4th. But here comes Logan Seavey in the 20, charging hard.
Seavey's closer than 5 car lengths, but I must give credit to the Venturini Motorsports teams 1, 2, and 4 right now. Look at the nose of the number 15. Notice though, below the bumper, there's a panel that looks packed full of mud. Well, guess what? That's extended out 2 inches from the bodywork. So that front panel is really like an offensive line blocking for the running back. The air is still coming around that rectangle panel under the front bumper. He's getting plenty of air. Matter of fact, when he made his pit stop, that's almost all taped off. You see the very top edge has that screen. So masterful job by this team and Kevin Reed getting enough air in, even though that front looks clogged, it's been taped off. That's how cool they anticipated the race to be. I stuck my head out the window, Bob, under commercial here. It's only about 10 degrees cooler than what it was right at the start of the race. So I think the cool temps have part to do with it, and the great work about getting clean air to the nose of this number 15 machine, specifically for Eckes, is the difference in how he's able to keep this car at this strong pace. The number 20 car you see as well, his front nose has that little bit of a buffer there, space between the lower bumper and the grill work.
Logan Seavey in 2nd has done all that he can to try to close the gap. He has widened out the groove by himself here tonight, trying to run way down the bottom and just up out of that groove. But he can't get it wide enough right now, honestly, to get to that 2nd groove now with just 10 laps to go.
Seavey's closing. He's not done yet. He's going to slide that car through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Michael Self, the I want to keep a straight dirt racer now. I'm going to call him a veteran. Let's rip that yellow bumper off of that rookie designation for Michael Self, running 4th there in that green car.
Don't know where to keep our eyes on in terms of battles here because Seavey is right there, ready to pounce, closing in on the back bumper of Christian Eckes. Eckes has got to drive out the windshield and also drive with the rear view mirror to try to keep Logan Seavey, who is so good on the dirt. So many Power I midget wins, so many USAC National midget wins. He won in a USAC sprint car on the National Series for the first time just last week. Yeah. The kid is flat out talented.
He's also the driver that had a million hits on YouTube watching him take that midget after a car spinning up on the wall to get around. He's able to search around with the confidence on a dirt track. So what I see him here is he's looking low to see if there's any moisture along the railing. He lost a little bit of ground here to Christian Eckes, but I think he's going to gather back up. He's forever searching for more grip on a dirt track.
Seavey loses a little ground right there in second in that 20 machine. And remember, he's one of the double-duty drivers this weekend. He will go here from this racetrack in DuQuoin, Illinois, and go to Winchester, Indiana. He will race for Kyle Busch Motorsports in a super late model in the Champion Racing Association.
Yeah, he gets run the super late on Monday. Then he goes off to the BC 39 at Indianapolis Wednesday and Thursday, and he's back in a midget Friday and Saturday night in Illinois.
Plenty of racing this year if you're Logan Seavey, one of the young drivers coming through the ranks, making ARCA a stepping stone to where he wants to go in his career. Eckes, 2 times a winner already in 2019. The 18-year-old looking to go to the Truck Series possibly next year. Leads this race as we close in on 5 to go. There is the point leader, Michael Self. Self with 4 wins to his credit. And his crew chief, Shannon Rush, told me, listen, he thought this track was going to change dramatically throughout the race in terms of what Dave talked about with the humidity and the dew and so forth. Shannon was out here last night at the fair, came over to the racetrack just to see what moisture was on the grass here in the infield because he thought it may play a factor here tonight.
And when we walked across the track, Bob, before the race, I noticed how fine that brown material is on the outside. It's not a lot of clumpy clay. It doesn't peel over. It actually just a fine dusting. So as they race this racetrack, which is not the race time, it's the first time in a long time, we need to point out that on a mile dirt track in the ARCA Menards series, they've not had a USAC Silver Crown champ dirt car race before, the day before, the afternoon before. So this is really the first time stock cars have been on the track, first time automobiles have been on the track. There's been a modified support race or two this afternoon. But this track really has been brought in by these laps being put on one of the ARCA Menards Series cars. So that was a big guess. Shannon Rush knows what he needs to do with his driver. They've clicked all season long to get that point that they've had.
And I think you hit on something there. You know, the change in the format here with having the USAC Silver Crown race tomorrow rather than the day before changed how this racetrack is for these ARCA competitors. By the time that they normally get to this racetrack, the track is slicked over. Well, they had to create the grooves here tonight, and it's been a little bit more narrow groove than we normally see. Corey Heim in the 22, the kid out of Georgia, running in 3rd.
And that car is stuck in the owner's points in 2nd right now. He'll race the race until Kansas when Ty Majeski jumps back in. They've got 3 wins on the season by Majeski, but that's another factor to play in here. How strong he is. He knows he's racing for a team that's capable of winning races, and the owner's championship is something still in debate. The number 20 team actually holds the top spot in that, so he's right behind in that owner's points and right behind in the racetrack, 2nd and now 3rd. Heim's still a very strong run here again tonight.
You know, I think clean air even comes into the picture here, and Christian Eckes has it. These people behind him, you know, he gets to dictate the groove. And now, with just 3 laps to go, people like Michael Self just holding on, knowing that he's going to lose a couple of spots in the points and so forth as far as, you know, points gained to Christian Eckes. But still, with 3 races to go after this one, Michael Self is sitting in the catbird seat.
And if he does finish here, it'll be his 13th top 5 finish in 17 races this year. An impressive run by Self.
All of his top 5 finishes, you know, have been his top 10s as well. When he's had a bad run, honestly, he's had a definite bad run. Christian Eckes missed that race at Salem. Otherwise, he'd be right there, neck and neck with Michael Self in the battle for the championship.
And like true racers, they're dwelling on the races they didn't win. This is a chance for Eckes to get back on the box, get some points. Again, every position's 5 points. Michael Self didn't lead a lap tonight. The 15 of Christian Eckes is going to lead the most to get 5 more points as he comes to a very important flag.
White flag in the air for Christian Eckes, the teenager out of New York, trying to win again here in the ARCA Menards series. Logan Seavey doing all he can to close in.
I think Seavey's going to really try hard here in turn number 2. Closes a little bit here, but I don't think he can do anything besides follow the tire tracks of Eckes. He's going to hope for Eckes to make a blunder here in turn number 3, but the turn in is right on the dot. You see the nose just wiggle a bit on Eckes' car on entry.
Logan Seavey, he's not going to do it. Score a hat trick of victories for Christian Eckes this year. His 3rd victory of 2019 comes right here at DuQuoin.
CV second, amazingly enough. Corey Heim hung on to third. I say amazing because this kid's been good everywhere he races. Top 4 at Pocono, third place here on the dirt track at DuQuoin.
The team celebrates down there on pit road, and let's just call Christian Eckes a dirt track specialist now. 2 wins between last year at Springfield and this year here at DuQuoin.
Batting 500, not bad. 2 wins in 4 races.
He is going to be happy. He was nervous going into this one. Christian Eckes, the winner at DuQuoin. The ARCA Menards Series Southern Illinois 100 at DuQuoin is now complete. The Swans there in the infield. We have a little moat around the infield. It's about a half-mile in length, and those Swans enjoying a nice night here in Southern Illinois. Christian Eckes, your winner. Logan Seavey, also part of the Venturini Motorsports Brigade, in second. Michael Self, another one of those cars for Venturini, in fourth. Corey Heim, a great run for that kid in the third spot. That's his best run in ARCA competition.
Credit Kelikowski for finishing fifth. They made some changes on their one and only pit stop. Riley Herbst came back to sixth. Braden, he was almost a lap down at one point. Great job, rebound for him. And our pole sitter, Ken Schrader, still hung on for a spot.
Hey, how about Brett Holmes in the top 10 despite going a lap down twice during this 100-lap contest?
Joe Graffinish is just outside the top 10. Great run by Tommy Vi. Our bounty rookie spotlight fell on Tim Richmond in the top 15 finish.
Christian Eckes celebrating in victory lane, Dave.
It is a party on the starting line for the new dirt track specialist, who got a big high five from his crew chief, Kevin Reed, who always wears his emotions on his sleeve. The smile from that man pretty much says it all. The bath was probably worth it as well, but suddenly you have wins at Springfield and at DuQuoin this year. Incredible.
Yeah, man, this car was good today. I was getting a little nervous there with Logan in my mirror. He's such a good dirt racer, and we were able to hang on there, though. Kevin Reed and everybody made great calls all day, and we definitely got a lot better from Springfield. We weren't where we needed to be, and we worked hard, and we got where we needed to be. So I can't thank JBL Audio, Toyota Racing, SiriusXM, Illinois Truck and Equipment, Venturini Motorsports, all these guys right here. It's great to be in victory lane, and I guess I got to give this guy a smooch.
Yep, when you fly the V, you got to get the kiss. Big Bill, was an incredible moment. We talked right before, Christian, about the race started, about getting into turn number 1 and how treacherous that was going to be. What was the plan? How did it work out? How were you able to get to the lead so quickly?
I was actually able to clear him, but I missed the corner. I was actually able to drive back up there, and our car was really, really good in the beginning, and we were able to just really gap everybody. And like I said, Logan and everybody made it tough there. They all did good jobs, and we're looking good now. We got all we lost at Springfield, and now we got 3 really good racetracks for us coming up, and hopefully we're able to close it up the extra little bit.
How about that Venturini clan? That's now their 12th win out of the 17 races so far. Great job by Christian Eckes.
And how about this, Jim Trado? The fastest race in ARCA history here at DuQuoin tonight. 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 8 seconds. Nearly 2 minutes better than any other year for ARCA here at DuQuoin.
That's amazing.
Looks like the entire Venturini family is in victory lane. Tom, Emily, Billy, you got Big Bill and Kathy down there, crew chief Kevin Reed, all celebrating with winner Christian Eckes here at DuQuoin. Second place, Logan Seavey standing by with Dave Reed.
Boy, and this kid can't simply drive the wheels off a car, whether it's a midget or a sprint car. That USAC win coming early this year. You're smiling, though, about a second-place finish tonight in this big-bodied stock car. Just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, it was a good end to our day. We struggled all day in practice and qualifying. Had to start 10th there, and that was probably the biggest thing that hurt us, was having to start so far back. And, like you said, we were really good. I felt like we were the best car. It's just, track position, and you get too close to somebody and you kind of you lose air on your nose, and you lose a bunch of ground, then you run it back down, and it all happens again. So a few more cautions maybe, and would have been able to change up the pit strategy or do something different. We were kind of stuck on the same strategy as everybody, and kind of forces you to have to beat them heads up on the racetrack, and we just couldn't do that today.
This track did have to change a lot tonight. You did come from 12th. How did it change?
Yeah, it started really wet, a little bit greasy there in the beginning, and then it got super slick, and about halfway through the race, it kind of gripped up, and that's when our car, came to life. That's kind of what we were waiting for. I felt like our car was a little bit on the free side for the most part, and we're just kind of waiting for that rubber to come. And once it came, we were able to drive right by people. So it's always good. It's tough to pass sometimes on these miles, and to be able to have a car that's able to drive through the fields, it's always fun.
Impressive show, nonetheless. You got to get busy. You're heading to Winchester tomorrow.
Indeed he is. Super late model action on the high banks of Winchester Speedway on Monday. We still have 3 races to go here. Salem, Lucas Oil Raceway in Brownsburg, Indiana, and of course Kansas Speedway, the championship race. And speaking of the championship, that race got just a little bit tighter.
I think it's down to 80 points, Bob. My math, which I don't trust myself.
I saw you use the calculator.
25-point gain. My shoes are off and everything. 25-point gain. Eckes on self. 80 points back with these races remaining.
3 races to go. Anything can happen when you go to a track like Salem. We'll be there live on MAV TV. So Corey Heim, the teenager, a great run for him, Dave.
He was another hard charger. I misspoke. Logan Seavey actually started 10th. This is the man that started 12th and came all the way to 3rd. But just like what Logan was talking about, you could get there, but you couldn't quite get over the hump.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it was aero-wise or just the people in front of us kicking up dirt, but it just seemed like once you got to somebody, you stalled out really bad because every time I was on someone's bumper, I'd run their pace, and then if I was 10, 15 back, I'd be 3 times faster than them. So I don't know what it is about this single groove dirt track, but I'm glad we came on 3rd. We've had a lot of tough luck this year, so just glad we brought it home in one piece in 3rd place.
Well, put your helmet on top of me. How frustrating is that when you get in there and you just can't do it?
It certainly is frustrating, especially in a single groove racetrack like this where there's really just nothing you can do except hope they make a mistake in front of you. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating, but just got to get better track position next time and hope we can get in front of them.
But you're a young kid, but you understand being on the podium at DuQuoin, that's a cool deal, right?
It's awesome, yeah.
Corey Heim, his best career ARCA run to date. He's knocking on the door to go into victory lane.
Impressive. His worst finish this year is 11th, Bob, in 11 races. Really strong run by him tonight.
We'll be back to wrap it up here from DuQuoin in Illinois.
The ARCA Menards series is brought to you by Extreme Cleaners, tough on grime, safe on the environment. Auto Park It, the future of parking is here. See it at autoparkit.com. Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Here is the fair, the DuQuoin State Fairgrounds. People having fun here at this fair since 1923. Jim, I think he wants to go on that helicopter right there. When we leave the TV booth here tonight, we've enjoyed being part of the ARCA Menards series all season long on MAV TV. Let's take a look at this race. It was interesting here today in the Lucas Oil race recap. The Venturini Motorsports cars were very strong. That was the pass for the lead early by Christian Eckes over Kelly Kopsky.
Just 2 cautions the entire length of the race. Logan Seavey racing here with Corey Heim. That was a story throughout the race today. We did see some close calls here, including some lap traffic here with Joe Graff as the number 15 of Christian Eckes took 4 or 5 laps to get through him as the track narrowed.
We expected 2 rounds of pit stops. We only saw 1.
Yeah, I think the cooling temperatures as well as keeping that track position. Notice how narrow the black line is. They put the rights on it, but they couldn't stay in there for long. They need to clear on the nose, as we heard from Christian Eckes. Keeping that nose clean. Logan Seavey couldn't find those chances.
And no cautions late in the race. That's why we didn't see another round of pit stops as well. The grills needed to stay clean. It certainly did for the 15 of Christian Eckes, who was able to grab the checkered flag again for the 3rd time this year. This win comes here at DuQuoin on the dirt.
Great run by these drivers. That again, that's the big kiss by Bill. A short one this time. It wasn't nearly as drawn out. Christian I think the first time he won and knew that was coming, kind of had a hesitation move. Now he's all about embracing what could be a run to a Suchi short track Challenge Series championship. He's now top 5 in those points.
And by the way, the man that leads the overall point standings in the ARCA Menards series also leads the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge point standings. Shannon Rush's crew chief, Michael Self, talking. You can see Michael Self not happy, but he still has a good lead over a hard-charging Corey Heim, second in the series standings in terms of the short track standings going into the final 2 races.
2 short track races left in what would be Michael Self's strength, that mile-and-a-half at Kansas Speedway to close out the season. So Michael knew that losing any ground in these 2 dirt races would make the difference in the championship. I thought after last race he had smooth sailing. Now there's a bit of concern on Self's face, as you can see evident there.
Really interesting because the overall point standings, that margin closed just a little bit. But Christian Eckes, he is battling for the Bounty Rookie of the Year honors, and he is definitely in charge by a lot in that standings this year.
Yeah, again, he moved into top 5 in the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge Series points. Michael Self holds the lead. Corey Heim, with his run, is now second in those short track standings with 2 more rounds left in the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge.
We always have a great time on the dirt with the ARCA Menards series, and this one was certainly interesting how it all played out.
Oh, yeah. Eckes qualified well again on the front row and brings home his 3rd win of the year.
For Jim Trado, for Dave Reed, and everybody at Lucas Oil Production Studios, I'm Bob Dillner saying thank you so much for watching, and congratulations to Christian Eckes, a winner on the dirt here in ARCA.